Welcome to this unique DVD set. Never before have there been concepts released to any traders or any other one-on-one students. You are in for a powerful journey of discovery. Welcome to the Equinox DVD series, Fall 2006. Information contained within this DVD program is based solely on the author's opinion and research. This is designed for educational purposes. All charts were actual events and are real, not simulated. These are from archives on the S&P futures market and the gold markets. Far-reaching concepts correlating the solar cycles and the S&P futures markets. Here we will explore far out in space, concepts that are never talked about in market correlation. This is for traders looking for an edge, putting together ideas that have strong correlation and hypotheses for clear, provable correlation to market timing. All the concepts are illustrated, an open platform of visuals that bring these ideas to you. This DVD is designed to show unique cycle approaches to astronomical concepts, to fixed star correlation, to correlations never revealed before, and is a unique way, unlike any concept that has ever been revealed before, through provable correlation. Not just far-out concepts, but solid ideas that have a strong correlation to markets worldwide. This is an advanced DVD with concept for advanced astro students and traders, and for those who will seek the truth about the hidden energies behind the market movements. Welcome to this unique journey of discovery. Forecasting. Why forecast cycles? The purpose is to look into the future. In this chart, you'll see three examples of levels. I forecasted price at the low, which is seen at 1322.70 in yellow. I forecasted the next high at 1330, which turned out to be 1329.52. And then the high of the day was forecast at 1333. The actual high was 1332. How would this be possible with any technical approaches? We plan all levels based on cycles. The preparation and the actual chart forecasting levels and the actual levels are done ahead of time. We trade futures to see futures in the future, whether it's a 1 minute, a 1 hour, a 1 day, or a 1 week out. This gives the trader a tremendous advantage. Forecasting market time and price. This again, same concept. We plan ahead of time, we look at time and price, we see the future, we look for confluence. 3 times at the low, the forecast level was seen here. Our price forecasting price support. 3 times the market came down to it. The 4th time, we dropped into a lower cycle, which was already forecasted ahead as well. So we had a higher high and then a lower low. The market then turned up. We had a number of forecasting time events, which we see here in vertical lines. And when the market came down to our brown line, as you see above forecasting time in the future, the market then took off. All of this was pre-built ahead of time. This pre-building of time and price allows you to think about cycles in the future, as well as planning each and every trade that you have. So it's quite powerful. So the ability to forecast market price and time allows you to see things in the future, plan ahead, and allows way more profitability. The key secret of forecasting. What I believe is the understanding of time and price, which using the most predictive tool anywhere is cycles. Cycles govern our universe. They're around us in everything that we can imagine. Gann, in the 1900s, predicted 70 accurate forecasted, years in advance. J.D. Hurst was a powerful cycle analyst in the 1970s. The foundation of cycle studies looked at cycles from mating rituals to hundreds and hundreds of cycle studies. The highest predictable individual was a man named Brenner in the 1800s. He predicted iron cycles, and his accuracy was so high it was actually outstanding. The great minds of time have all used cycles in most of their work. So I believe cycles is truly the key for the edge for forecasting. So how do we see cycles to trade them successfully? In this chart, it illustrates two blue lines, which represent planets. The key secret is the conversion of planetary relationships to price. This is actually the key. I call this vibration. This vibration is the key to allowing you to see the actual planetary relationships in the sky built onto price. All events can be converted, which allows us to see cycles both small, big, or super. This gives traders an edge. We will see many examples of vibration as we go forward. Price and energy are also predetermined. Once you can see the cycle and you understand its amplitude and its intention, we will discuss the language of the market as we go forward. So in this case, this was a Venus-Neptune cycle. The market in a Globex session went up into this blue high. It dropped down for a couple hours, then went back up and did a double top, triple top, and the market basically topped exactly on this vibration, which would allow you to see stops. It would allow you to see what direction the market was going to head. If price of a vibration is above, the planetary relationship will hold as resistance. As the market dropped into the support line, the price is expected to bounce higher, which is what exactly it did here with the few blue bars at the bottom. So this was a relationship between Venus and Neptune, and we had established the ability to go long. There was a listing of long bias in the far right, and you can see up at the top short resistance. This is an event that happened on July 26, 2006. So again, the ability to see cycles is unique, never before revealed. Does it work in all markets? Yes, it does. Here's an example of gold. The gold vibration was set where the yellow line is. The lower vibration was a Mercury declination and a Venus in declination. These are astronomical functions. But here in the gold market, the exact high and the exact low were pre-forecast ahead of time. Why these cycles? Well, there are hundreds of cycles in the stock market. The understanding and correlation and backtesting allows you to understand how they work. These are the most significant cycles of that day, which allows you to have a specific target in mind, indicated by the yellow. All markets worldwide move to cycles. The S&P, Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, gold, silver, all currencies. So throughout our whole financial markets, vibration is one of the core edges that you would have in trading. Here again we see gold with the moon's maximum declination acting as resistance. When the moon reaches a point above 28 degrees in declination on the north or south side, it is an incredibly important turning point in the universe. This was defined as our profit target and resistance area. And as you can see, the low was a Jupiter-Pluto cycle, which is quite powerful. It moved up to the moon's maximum declination cycle, almost an exact hit. As you can see, there are times that the market will vibrate at, exact, or near the vibrational lines. So you can see this cycle's effect on the S&P, or you can see this cycle's effect on gold, as we've illustrated here. The extreme maximums of declination or latitudes are turning points in the market. Magnetic, gravitational, electrical, these are all the energies that get released through these vibrations. These high points are powerful market movers. It allows you to see ahead of time and allows you to plan your day. And the edge that you have using futures and seeing in the future is way beyond any technical tool that has ever been created. The node cycles. These node cycles are some of the most significant cycles that exist. I have found the node to be one of the highest correlated set of cycles that exist in any market worldwide. In this case, you're looking at a Jupiter node cycle. Jupiter is the power of expansion, and the node represents the change in mass consciousness. This is the number one cycle consistently, intraday, weekly, regarding swings that are monthly or yearly. All node cycles affect all markets. It truly is mass consciousness. So if you have a cycle that is some of the highest probability and cycles with repetitive occurrences, the edge that you have is outstanding. This is something you build and see in the future. Think about that next time you think about a technical indicator. The Chiron node cycle. A lot of astrologers aren't familiar with Chiron. Chiron is a healing planet. It's represented by the centaur. It's half man, half horse. Chiron, in essence, is a planetoid. Chiron, I feel, is the bridge between the outers and the mids, or the Mars out. In essence, what it does is it links the outer planets, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, to Chiron, and those cycles become quite powerful. One of the highest correlated cycles in the market is Chiron to Pluto. It is a 67-year cycle. In this case, we can see Chiron to the node. It's 51 degrees apart. The market pulls down into the line of Chiron. It bounces off of it once, comes back for a double bottom, and then the market went much higher later that day. Chiron represents the planet of adjustment. Did the market adjust from Globex downward to upward? Yes, it did. Was it an exact hit? 2 times. How accurate can these vibrations be? They could be 100% accurate. They could be to the tick. It's quite outstanding once you use these daily that you realize the power of astrology converted to price. This is so deep and hidden that no one has ever released anything like this before. So our target in this case was the upper vibration, because as we'll talk later on, the market often goes from a beginning to an ending. The next set of cycles I look at are midpoint cycles. A midpoint is the energy of 3 planets, and one being the focus planet. Midpoints of large outer planets move the market significantly. And midpoints truly are focused energy, with the center planet being the primary core of a midpoint relationship. If you have 3 inner planets, and one being the sun pretty much would lead the relationships. If you had the sun plus 2 other outer planets, Neptune and Uranus, for instance, and Neptune was the mid or focus planet, then Neptune would be the vibration that the market would move on. If the node is at the midpoint, the node is change of mass consciousness, which means that it will change the consciousness of the traders in the pit. Pluto at the midpoint is significant. Weekly, monthly, or even yearly midpoint trades occur with Pluto at the midpoint of an outer relationship. It's a rare event, but occasionally it does hold true. There was an event about 2 weeks ago that Neptune was the midpoint of 2 other significant planets. The market went up 15 points from that exact low, and Neptune again, a planet with great power, one of the rulers of the S&P, showed its true colors. But if you didn't know what midpoints were, or weren't looking for a midpoint, or had no idea how to see a midpoint, you would never have seen or understood why the S&P perhaps had gone so strong. So midpoint cycles around the zodiac of 360, I watch them continuously. They work both in geo and helio zodiacs, and we'll talk further about these as we go on. Here's an example of an actual Neptune midpoint cycle. You can see the teal color line at the top. These two are vibrations off the midpoint of Neptune, and then the target was a Neptune helio vibration at a lower point in price. The middle line was a node cycle. So here you can visually see the representation off the zodiac. Neptune was the midpoint. The market had dropped here about 7 or 8 points, and it was almost an exact high. It just wicked a little bit above. If you look here, it just went a teeny bit above our line. The target originally was down here. This is your target from your high, if you were short. Now, the question to ask is there another cycle in play in the afternoon that could stop and take the market higher, as we will see was the case? The midpoint energy focused the energy and price downward. Dependent on the planet pairings, the targets, the amplitude, the strengths, and the focus will change. So the read, again, is critical. So understanding the language of the market, we'll discuss as we go on further. But in this case, here's an actual example of a midpoint of an actual day off of an actual chart. So they're quite powerful and, again, very predictive. Here you can see the midpoint, again, has an exact high. So the hit from this high, the market dropped down, came down from the high to the support, bounced to the midpoint resistance, came back down. Our expectation is here, but in this case we had a PM cycle in the afternoon that stopped this market. It went higher, and our target was back up towards these highs. This is what actually happened. A new cycle entered the picture. So what we were looking at earlier was the event from this high, the teal-colored line, down to the node, up to the midpoint, down to the Earth-Uranus cycle, which was a new cycle that came into play. Our original expectation was here, but as you look at cycles in the future, it came in the early afternoon. So we plotted the vibration, and we had 2 expectation targets. The first one was profit 1 up here, and the second one was at profit 2. Multiple cycles affect the markets every day. So the interaction and the change of cycles are continuous. The reason this particular methodology is a little more challenging is that the everyday trader does not look at cycles. They have no idea where the market goes for the most part. They're not based on true nature. Multiple cycles move the market. Earth-Uranus changed the down move to an up move. Uranus rules change. We have a target 1, a target 2, and oftentimes the cycle at the bottom will reveal the energy and where its intention is to go. In this case, we had a profit target 1 again and a profit target 2. So we will go look and see what actually occurred. The result of the cycle influence that the Earth-Uranus brought in at the green line at the bottom on the S&P was we ended up getting up to our second target. We went from our low of Earth-Uranus to our target 1, which we saw in a previous slide, up to our target 2. At 12:35, we hit exactly to the tick the second target. This is what I call a beginning to end cycle relationship. The cycle began down here where Earth-Uranus, and Uranus represents change. The market dropped into it, it changed, and went higher. Now up at the node cycle, we expect another change because it rules mass consciousness. So again, a visual graph of how actually the change works. The market's basically made up of cycles. They're like waves in the ocean. They flow in and out of the game throughout the day. The challenge is to follow them all, because there are quite a few cycles involved. This is an interesting quote I thought was pretty apropos to the average trader's mindset. The financial markets are generally unpredictable. George Soros. The financial markets generally unpredictable. So, that one has to have different scenarios. The idea that you can actually predict what's going to happen contradicts my way of looking at the markets. George Soros. My feeling is, but George, maybe you have not studied cycles. If George had studied cycles, or he won't admit that he does, and we see A to B to C to D, and these are plotted before the market starts, this was an expectation that was high probability bounce off of it, and it's exactly what it did. Is that not forecasting predictable cycles? Are they really unpredictable? This really truly makes you wonder. Once you get past this belief structure, you can actually roll up your sleeves and start getting into work. Cycles move all markets worldwide. They often seem like a hidden agenda. Cycles reveal all the markets of the stock market, all the moves. Cycles cause the news. They create fundamentals. They create the reports. Does he really not believe that cycles work in our world? I'll give you a few minutes to give that a thought. The parallels and the counterparallels are very powerful cycles that are unique. They're based off the equatorial plane, and the parallels are like conjunctions. The counterparallels are like 180s. There's one planet north, there's one planet south. They're quite powerful. Here you can see the moon contraparallel Pluto. The moon triggers the relationship to Pluto, and Pluto is power. So in this case, there was quite a strong upward move. The move almost occurred exactly to the minute. We see the purple line that represents Pluto, and when Pluto was going to come in. The market dropped into this moon parallel, contraparallel relationship, and went straight up about 6 points. Did a retracement, kept going higher, and went higher, and even then some. So I don't think anyone has seen parallels or counterparallels this way before. This is a very unique approach. The moon declinations affect intraday swings. They happen 2 to 3 times a day and are often quite powerful, depending on a relationship they have. In this case, with Pluto, the strength is a little more emphasized in a much more aggressive way. Normally, the moon to Mercury or the moon to Venus will generate very small moves, 1.5 to 2 points. So it's a little less power than Pluto, Uranus, or Neptune. The parallel, in another case, to show you how powerful Chiron Pluto that we talked earlier, this was a time turn previously forecast when the market would happen, was based on this singular event. The parallel is like a conjunction. It's allied. It represents new beginnings. It's a seed. It is when the planets are at the same side, both north and south. Their polarity is the same. Traders sometimes call it inverse when the market does opposite of what they think. But really what it is the polarity issue. Here we see Pluto's power again, and the size of the move is quite extraordinary. And this is based on a parallel relationship between Chiron. So this is the bridge cycle, and this is Pluto, which is the most powerful planet we have in our solar system. This was a helioparallel, so it even had more energy and strength. We'll talk about the zodiac and the power of Helio versus Geo as we go forward. Harmonics. This issue is actually quite complex, but incredibly powerful to understand. The harmonics basically are the secrets to the division of the circle. This is what I call a key concept. Harmonics yield vibrations. There are also 10, 11, and 12 are harmonics that I believe are important, the first 12 divisions of the circle. The 7 and 11 are irregular numbers. These have actually quite powerful events tied into the 7 and the 11. The 11 is a master number. Each harmonic has its own characteristics. And harmonics are applied to aspects that reveal how the energy moves. So the harmonics, in essence, determine amplitude, harmonics determine energy, and will give you, in a sense, a language or intention of the planetary pair. So we take our first harmonic, and that represents the conjunction. The conjunction is the relationship between two planets, and they're allied together. And the conjunction is when the sun conjuncts the moon, or would be called a new moon. The second harmonic is an opposition. This would be a situation when the moon is 180 degrees away from the sun. That's a full moon. The third harmonic we call the trine, 120 degrees. The trine basically splits the consciousness of both hemispheres. The zodiac represents truly our consciousness, so the left and right side are connected through the trine. So this is a very unique harmonic. The fourth harmonic is called the planetary square. When we talk about Da Vinci and his square inside the circle and the secret of the universe, it gets revealed here through the fourth harmonic. These have quite powerful energy, quite powerful amplitude, and even in sacred geometry, the fourth harmonic is very strong. The fifth harmonic is the quintile, represented by the 72-degree aspect. And the quintile, again, acts really as a push energy. It has a tremendous amount of strength. You'll find them at tops and bottoms, and again, quite powerful. The sextile is the 60-degree aspect. The sextile in the 60-degree family, 60, 120, 180, 240, 300, 360, represent basing or foundation. The seventh harmonic, which is our septile series, is an irregular number. The seventh harmonic will talk in connection to the pyramids as we go forward. The eighth harmonic